Hello, my friends. Hope you all had a nice weekend out there. Nothing special here. I just pondered the universe, consumed a lot of content and information on AI, and hung out with my cat. So, yeah, it was pretty much a chill weekend here. And somewhere over the course of the weekend, I got thinking about mindfulness again and just how, even though I've practiced mindfulness for a very long time, back before it was a buzzword, pretty much from the first time I learned about Thich Nhat Hanh, but still, over the last few years, I have struggled with the past a lot. And a lot of this stuff, when I say it, I know I'm not being 100% literal, because no matter how much we say, well, this is how we should think, this is what we should focus on, this is what we should do, that monkey mind does what that monkey mind does. And as I was thinking about this stuff, I went to I went to the bookshelf, not this bookshelf, there's another bookshelf in here, and I was looking for the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And then I kind of remembered, and I realized I cut a lot of stuff when I moved from when I sold my mother's house and moved, and didn't have that book. So I just looked up a few passages, and I found a couple that really made a lot of sense to me and kind of brought it back into focus. And I thought I would share them with you today, because the now is really the only place that we live. But this first little piece, and these pieces are very short, they're not very long readings, but the article is, actually the title of the article is, "Time is not precious at all, it all represents an illusion." And this is one of the quotes from his book, and it said, "Time is not precious at all, because it is an illusion. What you perceive as precious is not a time, but one point that is out of time, the now. That is precious indeed. The more you are focused on time, past and future, the more you miss the now, the most precious thing there is." And he goes on to say, "We are losing the most intriguing part of our energy every day, as we are constantly relating our thoughts and emotions to the past or future. Consequently, we become the slaves of the past or the future, which in reality do not exist, and therefore we largely deprive our current life. The time we spend every day preoccupied with the past and the future, in fact only following the constructs of our mind, is actually the time spent in our thoughts and imagination. In order to get out of this vicious circle in which we are wandering in times that do not actually exist in the real plane, it is necessary that we direct all our attention and the sequence of thoughts to the only real present moment that represents the best platform for our growing up." Okay, now we could get real deep, and I don't have the background to talk physics here. We could, like a next level physicist could argue that time is, that it's always happening. The past, present, and future are all happening at the same time. But we can look at it like this. The only time we can live in is the now. The only time we can really affect is the now. Now, like I say, don't get it super literal with this, just from a practical standpoint, as living beings, we all have to think about and act and plan for the future to a certain extent. But we just have to remember that we just can't get caught up in that past and future, and that we have to really focus on what is going on around us. Then I went on and was looking around a little bit more, and then I found another article that I've just got a couple of quick sections I want to read from that really hit home too, because they tend to speak to reality. And it just reminds me of how our mind doesn't always work in or it doesn't lead us in the most realistic direction. Because, and this really hit home a lot, complaining is non-acceptance. To complain is always non-acceptance of what is. When you criticize, condemn, or complain, you aren't accepting reality. Instead, you are rejecting reality in favor of your expectations or thoughts of what reality should be. And in doing so, you will end up less happy than if you accepted the situation you're facing and figured out a productive path forward. And then how to deal with an unpleasant situation, straight to the point. If you find your here and now intolerable and it makes you unhappy, you have three options. remove yourself from the situation, change it, or accept it totally. That's similar to, like I've mentioned before, I say the serenity prayer quite often, and that just kind of reminds me a little bit of that. But it really is, because those really are the only three options that we have to do with an unpleasant situation. Instead of just complaining about it, ergo the former paragraph, when you find yourself in an unhappy situation, you can either remove yourself from the situation, change it, or accept it. That's it. No complaining, no bickering, no feeling bad. You either leave it, change it, or accept it for what it is. I use this simple framework for dealing with unpleasant realities very frequently. And once again, like I said, this is just some practical knowledge. I'm not a big Eckhart Tolle head like some people that can quote all his work, but I found that book very enjoyable to read, as I did A New Earth. And it just, like I say, sometimes I need those reminders. No matter how long we've read about something, no matter how long we study something, it's all an intellectual exercise of the mind until we actually remind ourselves every day and apply it to our lives. So, like I say, I'm trying to make a lot of changes in my life this year. I'm trying to get out of some non-helpful thought patterns that I've kind of been stuck in since I've been back in the States. And, we just all do the best we can. But anyhow, thought I would start the week out just with a little talk with you. Hope you guys might have enjoyed this one today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. Have a beautiful week, and I'll see you again here throughout the week. Peace.